Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Sports Talk with Brodes. We are broadcasting live, as always, from the Manscaped Man Cave. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. Doug Pederson just spoke to the media, and he gave some updates on individuals that were clearly banged up, and they're working their way back to getting on the field, practicing. And I raised this question. Does this make you more optimistic about this Eagles football team? To clarify, that doesn't mean that, they're getting healthier, they're going to go win a Super Bowl. There is still obviously flaws throughout this roster, and there are problems and there are issues, but is this team that much of a dumpster fire, or were they extremely banged up in certain areas, which led you to believe that they were worse than what they actually are? Once again, heading into this season, I thought that they were a 9-7 type football team. So it's not as if from the jump, I thought that they were a Super Bowl contender, and then these injuries limited them to a 2-4-1 football team throughout 7 weeks of the season. But they are better than 2-4-1 in my opinion, so getting these guys back does make me feel better about this team. Jalen Reagor, practicing, super stoked. Can't wait to see how he is implemented into this offense, especially with Desean Jackson being out 6 to 8 weeks. This can open up an entirely different role for him. And with Fulgham, someone who's been splashing left and right throughout every single game that he has had an opportunity, I can't wait to see how he gets implemented throughout that process. I want to see them use Jalen Reagor like they did with Desean Jackson throughout that first drive of the game against the New York Giants. Maybe have him on a reverse. Maybe get him the ball quickly and let him go work with his speed. Get him the ball and allow him to utilize what he is so good at, and that's running. And then, of course, the over-the-top plays, which we know that he can take the top off the defense. You have John Hightower. I'm excited to see Jalen Reagor. I know a ton of people were very disappointed on draft night because of guys like Judy and Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb and all the other people drafted in that first round. Don't write off Jalen Reagor. It's impossible to write off a kid who has barely played just because he had thumb surgery. Give him a chance. Give him an opportunity. Because what he has shown you through his very limited action to this point is he could be a player without a doubt. And he has a skill set that works in this league that's very beneficial to any coach trying to work an offense out there. The problem is Doug Pederson the guy that you trust to make the offense work out there? There are times, the scripted plays, they're beautiful. At the same time, frustrating when he's off script. Now, Jason Peters was mentioned, and of course, this is getting a lot of noise because he mentioned left tackle a couple times. He also mentioned right guard. When listening to Doug, the tone didn't stand out to me that he was going to play left tackle. He mentioned Jordan Mailata. He said that he's done some good things out there, and there's no doubt about it that Jordan Mailata, in my opinion, has earned the chance to keep playing there until he fails. And I don't know if he ever is going to fail enough where you need to yank him because it's so bad and it's so atrocious that he's not serviceable anymore. I can't imagine it getting to that level. He will have hiccups. He will make mistakes, but to the point where he looks like Brown or Opeta, I don't know if it's going to be to that level. Although he had a tough game against the Giants, once again, he has earned the opportunity to stay there until it's so miserable you flat out have to move him. With Jason Peters, the way that Doug was talking about it, it seems like a smokescreen. We have heard Doug Pederson speak to the media for how many years now? This is how he operates. This is who he is. He always keeps things up in the air. They have this mindset that other teams are listening to what they're going to say. And if he mentions that Jason Peters is going to play right guard, the Cowboys are going to pick up on it and game plan differently. And I just feel they're so obsessed with what other teams hear and what other teams might search for that they don't publicly go out and say things. And I get that to a degree, but a move like this, I feel they overanalyze. But this is how they operate. This is how they have always done it. They keep teams guessing. They want people on their toes. With Jason Peters, I honestly do feel like they are going to put him at right guard. This is all just a general conversation because Doug, not only do they not want other people to hear, whatever the case may be, they don't like telling information to the media at all or to the public at all. They always hide information like this and keep it up in the air so you can question, oh, what are they going to do? Yes, he mentioned left tackle a couple times. I would be shocked. Honestly, I would be shocked if they go down that road of Jason Peters at left tackle at this point. Look, JP got his money. JP was looking for something when he was playing right guard, moving to left tackle. Hey, I want my money, damn it. I want to get paid like a left tackle. Well, he got what he wanted. He got the money part of it. Now, in reality, I feel he should pay the Eagles back every game that he plays at right guard for whatever he tried to pull on them throughout the training camp sessions and before the season started. He should give his money back. No doubt about it. Although, that's not how it's going to go down. I just sit here and I listen to Doug speak about it. I wasn't buying what he was trying to sell. I've heard this man speak many times now for many years. That seemed like typical Doug Pederson trying to inch his way around telling the information that he has. I think you're going to get a Mailata. You're going to get a Herbig. You're going to get a Kelsey. You're going to get a JP. And then the question at right tackle. Doug Pederson said he won't get in Lane Johnson's way if it comes to playing him or not. I do feel the problem is I don't know what the alternative is right now. Like if Jack Driscoll was available, would Lane Johnson be playing? Fair question. With Lane Johnson, the more you push this ankle, the more you push this injury. He had the ankle injury. Then it snowballed into another injury at the end of the game against the Giants. He needs rest. And I know a bye week is coming up, but could you imagine the difference in having 2 bye weeks in a row for someone like Lane Johnson? If you could find a serviceable option at right tackle, let him sit against the Dallas Cowboys. Let him sit for a full bye week, and then he's ready to go boom at the back end of at the beginning of the second half of the season. That would be ideal for me. I just don't know if you have that option because there's not many linemen left available to play at right tackle. He did mention Jack Driscoll, but I don't think that it's to the point where he's going to be that available to play. Maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't get that vibe. I feel Lane Johnson is probably going to push through it and play because he knows he has a full week and a full bye week to recover afterwards. But I do think that him pushing it and him playing through, which I admire his love for the game, and I admire that he wants to keep Carson Wentz upright. I think long-term this is hurting him more than he thinks. I think long-term this is a really bad move for Lane Johnson. But at this point, if you don't have anything else available, you are forced in a situation where you have to go down that road. But the Lane Johnson situation is very interesting to me. I don't love it. And if there were other options, I'd go down that road because I think week 13, week 14, week 15, week 16 of Lane Johnson is more important than where they are now in week 8, week 9. Although these are the division games. I'm not downplaying these games and saying that they don't matter. But if you want any hope in winning this horrendous division of the NFC East and any hope later in the season, you're going to need your guys ready to rock and roll. And I'm going to question Lane Johnson's availability the more and more he continues to push through this thing. But that's Lane Johnson's mentality. This is how he has always been. At some point, though, you're not going to be able to push anymore. Hell, 7 snaps into the Giants game, he was going back to the sideline. He did fight through it. He did battle through it. But then here you go. Here goes another injury. It's all starting to domino. There's one big domino effect occurring. Alshon Jeffrey, by the way, was mentioned. The calf injury. That's what they're trying to sell you. They're trying to sell you there is a calf injury. I have no words. It's extremely disappointing. I think it is embarrassing how this Alshon Jeffrey stuff went down. You were talking about being optimistic that he'd be able to come back before week 6, so with the PUP list, it makes a lot of sense to keep him off. I don't think you see Alshon Jeffrey all season long. And then there were some reports about Zach Ertz and Alshon Jeffrey, teams interested. Oh, okay, so teams are interested. There's something being hidden when it comes to Alshon. It's annoying, no doubt about it. I mean, you have a guy here that there's a lot of money on the books for. He's dealing with a ton of injuries. He's finally back. Illness, all this crap. I mean, it's a joke. Nobody's falling for this nonsense. Everybody is fully aware that you guys butchered this situation and you're trying to hide it and you're trying to find a way to get around it. We aren't stupid. We are intelligent. We know that you screwed this entire process up. So just admit it and move on, or just admit it and make a statement. This is nuts. It's nuts. I would stay away from Alshon if I'm any team in this league. Are there teams that think they're an Alshon Jeffrey away? A 31-year-old, a 30-plus-year-old player coming off of a Liz Frank who is clearly an issue? Look, if it gets you a 7th rounder, I mean, if you're giving up a 7th rounder or something and you think you're a Super Bowl contender, is it worth taking a shot? Okay, I guess it is worth taking a shot because he has had success in this league. He is a Super Bowl champion, but there's something that comes with him. There's a package that is brutal with this guy, and I don't know, maybe is it the Eagles front office that's the problem, or is it Alshon that's the problem? Because I'm not writing that off the table. Clearly, there is a disconnect somewhere, and who's to say it's Alshon's fault? No, it could be. It definitely could be. But could it also be the way the Eagles are handling this situation as well? Yeah. Absolutely. I want to tell you about my friends at DraftKings. DraftKings has brought their expertise to legal sports betting. It's a legitimate sports book based right here in the U.S., so you can rest assured that your funds are totally secure. DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is safe, secure, and reliable. Deposit and withdrawal at your convenience. Listen to this deal. It's tremendous. All new users have a chance to earn a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. Download the app and sign up using promo code BRODES, BRODES. Head to the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and check out all that they have to offer, including player props, live betting, and so much more. If sportsbooks are not yet available in your state, don't forget about their DraftKings Fantasy app, offering millions of dollars in total prizes every single week. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. So there were reports also about Zach Ertz and teams being interested in him. The Ravens and the Green Bay Packers being the names that were reported. The Ravens is interesting. I don't know where exactly that would fit. They have Mark Andrews. They don't have this explosive passing offense. Are they looking for more weapons? I mean, I don't know. It's such a funky offense for them. It's weird to imagine Zach Ertz being that big difference maker in that offense. It's not like they have these stellar wide receivers. Is that why they're trying to go down that road? Yeah, they have Hollywood Brown, who is a speed guy, but I don't know how another Zach Ertz is the big-time splash for that offense. I just find it being a weird fit. Now, it wouldn't hurt a team. Getting Zach Ertz would never hurt a team. It's a weird, unique puzzle piece, though, that you're trying to implement into a puzzle that I can't envision it. But look, John Harbaugh, he's done a phenomenal job there. They have a very unique system as it is with Lamar Jackson being their quarterback. Maybe they're trying to give him another option that is very reliable based off of Lamar Jackson not being the best passer in the world. But here's the problem. Because Zach Ertz is on that short-term IR with a minor injury, he's untradeable. and the trade deadline is sneaking up on November 3rd, uh-oh. You need to move on from Zach Ertz. Sadly, what happened with his injury is playing a big role, and it could possibly screw over the Eagles for what they get in return for the value that they want to get. Now, clearly, you can still trade Zach Ertz next season. He's got a year left on his contract. He's obviously unhappy with how much money he is getting paid for the future, but you lose value because teams are going for it now. Teams want to win now. So acquiring him mid-season, people think they're a Zach Ertz away. That can definitely help certain players take that next step and help offenses create more. Green Bay Packers, come on. Aaron Rodgers playing with Zach Ertz, that's a threat. That would be something, to be honest with you, that I wouldn't mind seeing. I would love to see Zach Ertz thrive with an Aaron Rodgers. But losing this half of the season when it comes to value and what you get in return, well, it's a huge difference. Teams don't want to give up as much. If it's only a year left on his deal and you know you're going to have to crunch the numbers, pay him big money, and he's an older player in his career. Not that he stinks, not that I think that he's done based off of the production he gave you this year, but I'm looking at the value the Eagles can get in return, and it does seem they are going down the road of trading him, or else you would not have fights involved between Howie Roseman, Zach Ertz in the front office. There's a head-on collision happening between both parties. This short-term IR with the minor injury, it's going to be a difference maker in how much you get for Zach Ertz whenever the move is made. And I sense the move will be made at some point. Dallas Goedert coming back to the practice window, the 21-day practice window. As I open up the podcast with the optimism of getting these guys back, Richard Rodgers did a phenomenal job. But can you rely on Richard Rodgers to get you 6 receptions, 85 yards? Getting Dallas Goedert back, Jalen Reagor back. Now, it's just about them getting back to practicing. It doesn't automatically mean that these individuals coming back are automatically going to play on Sunday. I think you will get a handful, though. John Clark of NBC Sports Philadelphia is reporting that Jalen Reagor probably going to go on Sunday. That's exciting. But just because they get activated in this 21-day practice window, it doesn't mean they are out there their next game and they're going to be crushing it and playing full speed. And look, even if they do get back and they are activated, it doesn't mean that they get 100% of their snaps back and they are perfectly ready to go. There's a lot that happens and a lot to factor in on them getting back into shape and becoming the players that they were previously before the injury. There's a lot to unfold. It's not, hey, you're back, boom, all right, 300 yards for Carson Wentz because all these options are available. It takes time to implement them back into things, but the Dallas Goedert news is huge. Hell of a player. Remember week 1? It came in a loss, but the guy's a 100-plus yard type tight end. Even when Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert were discussed when Dallas Goedert just got to the Eagles, they were talking about how he is more athletic. He could be more of a playmaker. He can do more than Zach Ertz when it comes to that versatility. And that's not a knock on Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is a tremendous tight end, no matter what people feel about him right now in the moment because of his struggles and his body language so far this season. That is frustrating, but Zach Ertz is tremendous. Saying that Dallas Goedert shows more versatility from an athletic standpoint, that's no knock on Zach Ertz. It just shows you what Dallas Goedert can bring to the table. I can't wait to see him get back out there. Jalen Reagor, though, that's the one that intrigues me the most because of the negativity towards him so early in the process and through the draft because, TCU, and look at his numbers. Yeah, well, they were on their 4th-string quarterback in the Big 12 where he couldn't get the football. There's only so much that you can do. I'm not saying that Jalen Reagor is this elite, insane stud that's just going to break out and be a Julio Jones or anything of that nature, but you don't really need him to be. You need him to be Jalen Reagor. And with Fulgham and with other guys out there, hey, I can't wait to see what Jalen Reagor can be. Miles Sanders day-to-day. Here's the list of day-to-day guys. Lane Johnson, Sanders, Malik Jackson. There are a couple of them day-to-day. Malik Jackson, yeah, I want to see him get back. I've been underwhelmed with Javon Hargrave. He does do things that don't show up on the stat sheet. Double teams forced his way. Brandon Graham has been phenomenal. And I want to credit Brandon Graham as much as possible because he is one of the reasons why he is being successful. At the same time, there are things that don't pop up on the stat sheet that help someone like Brandon Graham. And yes, Hargrave does have people focused on him. The interior lineman of him and Fletcher Cox, it is very beneficial to edge rushers. I still have been underwhelmed, though, with Hargrave. I expected more. He was a big-time signing in the offseason, and I'm not writing him off. But to this point, I want to see more. He did battle through an injury, the pec injury, and we were shocked to see that he was ready to come back so early, and maybe that has something to do with his slower start. I need more out of him, but Malik Jackson was balling out when he was available. Keep adding to that line depth. You can't have too much line depth when it comes to this rotation and Jim Schwartz's scheme. You get Vinny Curry, and he could do a little bit of both. He could play inside, he could play outside. But if Malik Jackson is day-to-day and he's back and available and he's playing DT, well, then you have more versatility with the edge rushers when it comes to Barnett, Graham, Josh Sweat, and Derek Barnett. I don't want to see him again in an Eagles uniform. Unfortunately, he is not what you envision him being. He has very limited spurts. He has very limited moments, but it's not enough. By the way, the Dallas Cowboys, moving on from Everson Griffin, they are a joke. You have the defensive coordinator getting Tabasco sauce in his eye during a Zoom meeting, and then you have Jerry Jones on his radio show that he calls in all the time, and he's basically saying, shut up and let me answer the question. Whoa, hold on a second, dude. The fire, the intensity, the frustration, it's pouring out. And by the way, owners making phone calls to radio stations, I know this is how it's been for a long time in Dallas, and Jerry Jones is the face of everything down there. But that's not a thing. Imagine Jeffrey Lurie making phone calls to WIP in the mornings on Mondays after games. Let the head coaches do that. Let the coaching staff do that. Jerry Jones speaking. What? That's not a thing. And that's where you look at an organization and you look at their philosophy. They have been who they have been for so long. Their last championship was 96. They haven't had a lot of success. They had a nice year with Dak Prescott. They haven't had a ton of playoff success, though. And when that happens, you got to look at, well, why? What are the common themes? What are the common denominators? Oh, maybe, just maybe, it has something to do with the ownership. He's supporting Mike McCarthy. I got my guy. And I'm not claiming you got to fire Mike McCarthy after 1 year because I think that is too premature. But what's happening is bad. And he hired that defensive coordinator. And the culture and everyone turning on him, it is ugly. Trading Everson Griffin already. And they're going to keep moving other pieces as well. Not that I'm... Not to my knowledge, at least, that people are just jumping at the bits to go out and make trades to acquire some of these defensive players on the Cowboys. Everson Griffin, different story, but you're hearing some of the names available, huh? You mean the guy that gets burnt every single week? Yeah, no, thank you. A guy who became available, by the way, was Eli Apple. I don't want Eli Apple. I know the Eagles do struggle when it comes to outside corner Avonte Maddox. He's a guy that has been playing outside, and when he was out, it was robey-coleman. He struggled. You got two guys that are just way too small. I like Avonte Maddox. He's a slot guy. robey-coleman has been very underwhelming. The Avonte Maddox experiment at outside, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm not going to go out of my way and try and get an Eli Apple who has been bounced around. You know, he struggled with the Giants, and then he went where? The Saints and Carolina, and now he's just getting moved along. The track record shows that there's something wrong with him, and I don't want to go down that road of Eli Apple, although I would like to upgrade that outside corner spot. I don't think that that is a possibility for this season specifically. That's more of a off-season fix, in my opinion. The trade deadline is going to be interesting, though. November 3rd, I wonder what's going to be more popular. Adam Schefter on November 3rd, breaking things down on ESPN, or the presidential election. I know where I'm going, though. I'll be going to Adam Schefter. I wonder which direction the Eagles go. The debate, should they be buyers? Should they be sellers? A little bit of both. Buyers doesn't mean you give up first, second, third round draft picks to go acquire someone so you can maybe win a playoff game. But you can do something that can help you out just a little bit, just to tweak you a little bit where you're not giving up a significant amount. Now, when it comes to sellers, I'm not just selling to sell. I heard the name Brandon Graham. Look at the year he's having. Would you sell him? You would sell him if you had 0 wins. If you weren't playing in the NFC East. If you had no intention on Brandon Graham being here for maybe next year. And, hey, who knows? But with Brandon Graham, I'm not just going to get rid of him because this team isn't going to go win a Super Bowl. If you can win a division, if you can get a matchup in the first round in a wild card situation that you feel good about winning, and yeah, there's value in winning one playoff game even if you don't win a Super Bowl. There's value in playing one playoff game even if you lose. With Carson Wentz, with Mailata, with Miles Sanders, with Dallas Goedert, with these young guys, Jalen Reagor, playing in a playoff game is very valuable to these individuals who are young that are going to be competing with your franchise for quite some time. But yeah, I wouldn't move on from a Brandon Graham. I wouldn't move on from a Fletcher Cox. I wouldn't move on from some of these other veteran guys. But would I move some pieces maybe to acquire something that can add just a little bit? Sure. So a combination of both. But I'm not ready. And when I say the combination of both, the selling side would be a Zach Ertz and Alshon Jeffrey. While Zach Ertz has been a big part of your success with the Dallas Goedert, you can open up more of the playbook, 11 personnel, fly downfield, use that speed, be more creative. So I would go down that road, but it does seem like a far idea. John McMullen did ask Doug Pederson about the trade deadline, and he opened up his question. His question was about how hard is it to implement new guys when you do trade for them, but he opened up the question saying, look, Doug, I know that you normally don't talk about this stuff, and you wouldn't talk about trades that you guys are thinking about acquiring, and Doug Pederson starts laughing, gives a sarcastic look, zips his lips shut, and throws away the key. So something's probably happening behind closed doors. Howie Roseman making some calls and seeing what they are going to do. Maybe a linebacker's in play. I don't know. And speaking of linebacker, TJ Edwards is somebody who was being discussed. If it's me, Singleton Edwards could be your move. I don't know what they're going to do at linebacker. I don't know what they're going to do with Nate Gary. But if it's me, TJ Edwards and Alex Singleton are your guys. And you pressure the quarterback, you get in his face, you make him uncomfortable. Jim Schwartz knows how to make players uncomfortable. New players in this league, and it looks like DiNucci might be the guy. Andy Dalton is still going through the concussion protocol stuff, and when it comes to practicing, it looks like that he is having a bit of trouble getting out there. It's now Wednesday. Do I feel differently than I did on Monday when it comes to the excitement? It's starting to creep in. It's definitely starting to creep in, but I'm not where I anticipated I would be heading into any normal Dallas week on a Wednesday. Just not there yet. Doug Pederson speaking today, though, it definitely helped. Oh, by the way, yesterday you had a bunch of coaches speak. Jim Schwartz, Fipp, and when Fipp speaked, he mentioned the play with Desean Jackson, punt returning. Desean wanted to do it. And there was a big debate about should Doug Pederson allow him, should Doug Pederson put him out there. The guy wanted to be out there. And he has a track record. He is a veteran. And I'm sure the people who are pissed off with Doug Pederson would say, who cares? You're the coach. You don't allow him. Well, that's not how this works. I know you want it to be that way, but that's not how this works. You have a guy in Desean Jackson, veteran player, been around the league, has had a lot of success in the punt returning department. He wants to be out there. He wants to go make a play, and you needed a play in that moment. if Desean Jackson didn't get hit with a cheap shot, this isn't even discussed for 1 second. This isn't even mentioned at all. At all. It's hard for me to fault Doug Pederson even now after knowing. Like at the time when you didn't know that Desean Jackson was the one with the vocal voice about wanting to be the punt returner, I was like, okay, I can see why you're upset because it is weird. He is coming back from the injury. At the same time, this is who he is. He is a guy who has done this in this league for a while. He is good at it. You need a spark plug. You need a big play. Greg Ward isn't going to be that explosive punt returner guy. He'll catch you the football, and that's it. He's a reliable catcher, which is crazy. The dude was a quarterback his college career. But now that I find out that Desean Jackson was the one that wanted to go out there, and he was like, yo, I want to be out there. I need to do this. I take less blame off of Doug Pederson than I already did put on him because your veteran player wants to go make a play. Something unfortunate happened. It's football. It sucks, but it's football. All right, this episode of Sports Talk with Brodes is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power. With over 20 years of experience in the solar industry, they are home to your solar experts in both residential and commercial projects. They are dedicated to making sure your project is completed easily and properly by using high-quality materials and trained professionals to get the job done right. Their solar program helps eliminate your electric bill completely by offering flexible financing solutions such as $0 down. They also provide water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. Make sure you check out their information. It's all down below. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.